Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Focus. I am an AD carry on EU West and a Draven main. I used to be top 30 challenger season 7, and I reached an approximate of 300 LPs PKLO in season 8. This video is going to be aiming to help players that are kind of stuck around the Platinium Elo. Since this video features me on the Smurf playing with a friend, which is playing as Blitzcrank, on gold 4 accounts, but with medium to high platinum MMR. In this video, I will tell you everything that goes through my mind when I play, including the mistakes I realize I'm making, and any proactive thinking or play that might come to my mind. Also, this is pre-recorded, of course, I'm not playing this live. Alright, so let's get right into it. Right now, I decide that the best option for us, since I am confident in our ability to win, is to chase the enemy. So we are waiting for the enemy to show up in the bush. Caitlyn shows up, we hook her, get a few damage done. I prefer to dodge the hook of Thresh rather than to get my axe. Sometimes it's better to miss your axe but not take damage for it. So right now I know we have a big lead since Caitlyn is poked down and they still decide to go leash for Kha'Zix. So we decide to get lane priority, which is what we are doing. My supports tried to get a hook in, but sadly misses, it's fine. Here I missed a few last hits, which is not that big of a problem, but you want to go for maximum last hits, and last hitting on Draven is not that difficult at any stage of the game. Right here I'm freezing a bit. You might find my movement a bit weird, but I'm trying to bait for Thresh to hook me. You have to be unpredictable in your movement. Okay, one thing you might notice here is that I scale up my E. For this particular reason, because I'm playing with a Blitzcrank, and I know that if he gets the hook in, it's really easy for me to follow up with an instant E and prevent Caitlyn from using anything or escaping from me. A lot of people prefer to scale W second on Draven, but I think that E can provide a lot more utility in certain cases, which just like this one. So here Caitlyn is dead, so we are trying to shove the lane as fast as possible to make sure we get an early lead. And that she also misses as much as possible. Alright, so this is a mistake I made. I should have recalled a bit earlier with my support, but I decided to greed a little to finish the wave off. Hopefully I did not pay for it, but it was still not the greatest play to make at this moment in time. So here I realized two things. I realized one, that they are out-shoving the lane, and two, that I don't have enough to get the items I want right now, which is at least BF sword. So I am going to let them basically get some lane pressure back so that my support has time to arrive and I can get the money I need. Also, I am still really strong considering that we killed Caitlyn and she didn't get the chance to buy any good item. Alright, so here I see a mispositioning from the enemy, right as they are caught in between two waves. Sadly, I want to E Caitlyn, but I miss it, because she does not try to juke it. So I end up taking a lot of damage. Thresh ignites me, and I prefer to flash out, rather than being forced out of the lane and keep my summoner. And this decision is eventually going to pay off, because I'm able to get a kill. Here I realize that Kindred is in a bit of trouble, so I decide to heal her preemptively, even though she might not have died from the initial damage. Here Blitzcrank gets a really good hook on the Caitlyn, and it's basically a free kill for me to grab. So now I'm really rich, since I haven't taken the chance to reset yet, so I can get a gigantic item lead on the Caitlyn. And from now on, the sole purpose of my game, since both mid lane and top lane are really behind at this point in time, is to play as clean as possible and make sure that I snowball my lead to make up for the solo laners hard losing their lane. That's the main idea behind what I'm going to do from now on in the game. Me dying would give the enemy a big shutdown, so that's what I'm going for right now. Mainly survival and snowball. Here, I get warded to make sure that we are safe. So what you just saw was a visual bug, because during the game, Blitzcrank Hook did go through and was linked by my E. So we got a really huge chunk of damage on to Caitlyn, which is now forced to play really far back, which is not what she wants as Caitlyn. She wants to be pushing, trapping under my nose, and making sure that I'm getting pressured, which is definitely not what's happening. Also, I'm trying to focus a bit on last hitting, since I missed quite a few, considering what I should be able to go for. Excuse me. Alright, so here my purpose was initially to force Caitlyn into the Blitzcrank Hook. But that did not work out, since Thresh stood in front of it. Even though my stand aside put Caitlyn in the good spot, Thresh hated it, and it made it very easy for me to kill him, since I have a lot of damage, and Caitlyn has really no mean to answer back. I'm also trying to gain as much information on the jungler's location, since although we may be able to 2v3, if I don't have enough mana for E or to make sure that I have both axes spinning when it comes, I might be able to lose the 2v3. So it's really important for me to keep track of that. Right now I decide that I need to go for Grump to gain some additional money to complete the items I'm looking for. The standard build I'm running right now is Bloodthirster into a Stormraiser into Rapid Fire Cannon. If I'm playing against a very assassin-heavy AD team comp, I will most likely go Ninja Tabais. Otherwise, I will go for Zerker Greaves. And depending as well on the enemy team comp, if they have any form of assassination, I will most likely go for Phantom Dancer instead of Rapid Fire Cannon. But the standard build is always Bloodthirster, Stormraiser, then Zeal item, which I link most often by IE, of course. You can also get a BF and a Zeal instead of instantly completing your Zeal item. Here, I decide that it's best for me right now to go for maximal AD. So I decide to stack 2 BF swords, which are eventually going to transform into Bloodthirster and Stormraiser, sorry. Also, bear in mind that even though my top lane and my mid lane are really behind at this stage of the game, I am really, really ahead, as well as my support. So it's really easy for me right now to snowball the game if I respect the rule that I told before, which is maximum efficiency snowball, but without dying. Me dying over to the mid lane or to the top lane will give them a huge bounty shutdown that could sway the game back in their favor. Here I'm trying to set up a dive with my support, but I'm also a bit doubtful of enemy jungle and support location, and I'm wondering if they are preparing something. But as soon as we get vision of Thresh on the map, I'm calling for the dive on my support. Caitlyn wisely backs off, because she will die. Here I'm trying to ulti Raven top lane, since by doing a quick use of my F outkeys on the keyboard, I can check at all times the health of enemy laners, and I realize that she's low on health. Unfortunately, my ulti is not correctly angled towards her location, and I do not get the kill. So here I notice that Caitlyn is alone, and we see Thresh on the map. Also, although we don't see Kha'Zix and we just notice him, I know that we win 2v2 hardcore. So I called for the dive anyway. I kill Kha'Zix, then I instantly turn on to the Caitlyn. Caitlyn right now has no means to escaping, so I'm just having a little bit of fun with it. She decides to go for the flash anyway, which is a big mistake. Might have worked out with the lantern, but Twisted Fate was around anyway, so it was just a huge waste of summoner. But Caitlyn's game is pretty much done anyway at this stage of the game. So here I'm really loading up on resources. I'm really strong. I ask kindly Twisted Fate by spamming him that I want to get the Gromp. The Scuttle Crab, sorry. Which is going to give me another huge lead in XP and money. Right now, the only way back into the game for the enemy team is to kill me. So I have to be extra cautious of that. And as you notice in the stuff, in my item build, my Bloodthirster is completed. Okay, something interesting is going to happen. Caitlyn is full health in mid lane, but I know that my ulti does a lot of damage. So since I am on vocal comms with my support, I ask him to ulti in the precise spot, to hook her into the precise spot that my ulti is going to. Which is quite funny since she is full health and going for the ulti play across the map, and that ends up killing her anyway, since I do this much damage. And Blitzcrank also gets the perfect hook, since he hooked her into my ultimate. So we had a lot of fun on vocal comms at this precise moment. So a lot of what you're going to see right now is me trying to bait the enemies into thinking that they are safe because they are somewhat playing far back into their base or their defenses. Here Blitzcrank hooks, I instantly link with E to deny her from taking the lantern, and I kill her with one auto attack. I heal my support. I'm kiting back right now because I am aware that Raven is really strong, and I'm mostly looking for her to use some of her CDs. Here I flash the hook of Thresh because it would have landed on me. Kindred ends up taking it, but I do not really care, since I am pretty much one-man army at this stage. Thresh uses flash to hook me, which is really not very bright decision since Lux doesn't have her CDs, so she does not have the burst to kill me. So they end up using a lot of summoners and big cooldowns during this fight, which allows me to reset, take my time, but also I have to be aware that I have myself no flash, which for next fight. Which is not that big of a problem anyway. Because now I'm going to mainly look forward to positioning myself really far forward and bait as much enemy RCC and important CDs as I can, which is Thresh Hook, Lux Q, Tower Aggro. I'm going to try to get all of that onto myself so that my team gets as much freedom as possible. So what you're going to see could be called reckless or bad positioning for myself, but it's really calculated actually, because I'm confident in my ability to dodge and outplay the enemies. However, I could also play this game by simply trying to survive and positioning myself really far back. But that's not what we're going for here. So here I get a juicy auto attack on Caitlyn, then the team tries to hard engage on me. So I try my best to dodge everything I can, and I instantly turn my focus over to Raven after Blitzcrank hooks Lux and Wicker, because Raven is the #1 threat to me right now. So I get a big auto attack on Caitlyn, she has to heal, I cut back, and now Thresh is dead. But the most important thing to take away from last fight was my awareness that Draven is really strong and that I need absolutely to dodge her ultimate. Not much to say about that. So here I barely leave off because we managed to kill Draven because Blitzcrank is peeling really well. And then I get a juicy auto attack on enemy Caitlyn, I believe, who is trying to finish me off with Draven. But they underestimate the Triumph health gain, HP gain that I get, and also my regen with Bloodthirster. As you can see, I am still being really cocky and playing really a lot in their face to pressure them as much as possible. Which is both effective gameplay-wise, and puts a lot of pressure mentally on them as well. Here I could have cancelled my recall and killed the enemies. Could have very likely happened, especially since I have heal. But I prefer to safely recall, because although I'm really far ahead, I do not want to give a 1000 bounty to Kha'Zix. As you see, I'm going for a lot of cross-maps ultimate, which end up paying off because my damage is ridiculous. And any form of follow-up, just like Twisted Fate Q on Kha'Zix, is enough to finish off the enemy, if I land. Now you are going to see everything that we previously mentioned put into action. Here I auto-attack the tower to not lose my axes and also to bait the enemies into going on me. Here I misplay because although my play would have been good and the easiest mechanical execution to kill off Lux, I disregard the fact that she has barrier up, and it's not enough damage to kill her. If she was a bit lower and didn't have barrier, to my knowledge, I would have E-flashed. E-flashed and auto-attack. Because it's a lot harder for enemies to play around that. But I knew that I needed at least 2 auto-attacks to kill her though. So I went for auto-attack, flash, E, auto-attack. By the way guys, I'm really new to this kind of content, so if you have any remarks or any questions regarding the game or how to get out of Platinium Elo playing any type of AD carry, just ask me, although I am mostly comfortable on the pocket picks like Draven, Twitch, Lucian, Kai'Sa. That's my bread and butter. But I thought that this game was quite interesting since, although it's an hardcore stomp, since I go 13-0 and something assist, I still make a few mistakes, especially regarding last hitting or target priority. Since there is always room for improvement, it's good for you, maybe low diamond Draven players or Platinum Draven players, I guess, looking to improve themselves, to hear what kind of mistakes you may be doing without realizing it. It's fine to do mistakes, but you have to realize what type of mistakes you are making. Alright, so that wraps it up for this game. I hope you enjoyed, and if you have any question, please let me know in the comments. feel free to subscribe to the channel as well. And if you liked it, I will maybe do some other content of this kind, maybe on another AD carry, or maybe a competitive play extract. We will see what we do in that regard. Thanks for everything, and goodbye.